Hi, I'm Faraz Khan, and welcome to Drag and Drop Low Code Unplugged, the podcast where we explore the game changing impact of low code in software development. Join me in insightful conversations with IT leaders and passionate low code enthusiasts who are at the forefront of this digital evolution. Together, we'll explore how early adoption of low code is giving businesses a competitive edge on a global scale. We'll discuss its impact on software development, dissect its role in transforming businesses, and uncover the ways in which it's reshaping career trajectories. So whether you're a seasoned IT professional or a curious enthusiast, be sure to tune in as we share success stories and unravel the mysteries of low code. Subscribe now and stay tuned for a front row seat to the revolution that's shaping the future of technology. So let's go. Hi Anna, how are you?
Hi, Froz. I'm great. And you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
for
okay.
being a guest. It's a pleasure to have you on.
For me, it's a pleasure as well. So I really admire you and your podcast and your work. So for me, being here is such an honor. So thank you for your
No,
invitation.
no problem. And thank you for your kind words. I think, we were obviously both guest speakers on the Women Plus user group not long ago. And
Yeah,
after hearing your story, I thought she definitely has to be on. I thought it'd be nice to share your journey, which I think is a really nice one to share because I'm sure a lot of people can relate. But before we kind of get into it, it'd be nice to kind of start off with a little introduction for those who don't know who you are, a
yeah,
bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from.
yeah. Hi, guys. I'm from Portugal. Um, I'm currently working as an engineer for entity data, but it wasn't always like this. I have a previous life, a 16 years career in biomedical sciences, and I worked as a biomedical scientist in a blood bank. So I dealt with
Mm.
emergencies, with transplants. So it was
Wow.
a bit hectic work, but I loved it. But I still transitioned to tech in 2022, I guess it was. Yeah, it was in 2022. Um, I'm a bit older uh, than the usual candidate for this type of jobs. Uh, some people might consider it as a kryptonite, but for me, it's my kind of my secret power. My age
Yeah.
and even being a mom with two kids, um, and having this previous life and also this parallel um, side job as a mom
Yeah.
helped
Yeah.
me. Yeah, uh, gave me a lot of skills, mainly soft skills that I use in
Yeah.
my tech work.
Yeah. And I think just to correct you because we're a very similar age, we are not old, we
Yeah,
are experienced, right?
yeah, yes, we are.
So even though you switched careers, I think obviously whatever you've learned in your kind of professional career can
Yeah,
always be used in other things, and we'll touch on that as well. But I'd like to kind of talk about obviously 16 years you're in that profession. What was the turning point? What was the reason? What made you want to change,
yeah.
and then why did you pick technology? Is it something that was in your mind? Is it something that just came out of the blue? Someone recommended it? How did that kind of come about?
Yeah. My husband is a developer and
OutSystems?
not OutSystems.
Okay, okay.
He works a bit in every technology. He
Yeah,
has a company.
yeah.
Um, Now he works mainly as a manager, not as
Yeah,
a developer himself.
sure.
But he started to see that I had a lot of skills that would be great in the tech world. Like I love
Mm,
charades, I love to find a solution. I always try to find the right fit for every problem. And he started to you should try and learn some code. And I was like, oh, I'm not, maybe I'm not tech material, but he always was like, you must try. And I started doing some courses in Code Academy. And I didn't know what was a variable. And I came from healthcare.
Yeah.
So a lot of those things were a bit of foreign language to me, but I still prevailed. I would use my free time, which still is not a lot, but
Yeah.
I would do like I would work during weekends, and during the night I work with in shifts, and sometimes I had to stay awake.
Wow.
And I used that time to study code. I would take my laptop and
Wow.
do courses in Code Academy and look in the Stack Overflow, of course, and try to learn this new foreign language, as we can see, as
Yeah.
we may
Yeah.
say that.
Uh, and how did where does OutSystems come into this? How did you get introduced to OutSystems? When did that come about?
Yeah. My husband started to push me into tech. And I was still trying to find a way to mix tech with healthcare.
Yeah.
So I started with data science and
Yeah.
started learning Python. It was my first language that I've learned, and
Yeah.
I learned by myself. Uh, I
Wow.
took a lot of months to learn Python, and I enrolled in a master's in bioinformatics. But as I sometimes say, we learn more from our failures than our successes. And sorry, guys, it was a huge failure.
Okay.
But helped me to get on my track into
Yeah.
OutSystems. I quit that masters. I still learn a lot from
Yeah.
bioinformatics, and bioinformatics is huge. It's great for you to learn AI, deep learning,
Yeah.
machine learning. So it's great for you if you are interested in learning more about AI. I should say,
Yeah.
go and try to read something about deep learning and machine learning. But it was a failure. And bioinformatics doesn't have a huge tech community, so I was feeling a bit lost. And I talked to my husband, and we decided that I should enroll in a web development bootcamp at Levagon. And after the bootcamp, they sent us a form if we were interested in learning OutSystems. I said
Okay.
yes. Yeah, I said yes, and the Lopes from OutSystems called me by the phone.
Yeah. Ah, cool.
And she told me that I had 2 weeks to learn OutSystems.
Wow.
She gave me a voucher for the
Yeah.
reactive exam, which I would like to say it was a massive success, but not. I
Oh,
failed
really?
at the exam. I failed at the exam. Yeah,
Yeah.
because 2 weeks is a very short time for you to learn
Yeah.
out systems
Yeah.
from. I didn't know nothing. It's like learning a new language.
Yeah.
And even me coming from Python and Ruby and JavaScript, it was hard because OutSystems has its own language.
Yeah.
Low code have its own language. So it's like learning a new language. First, you have to learn the letters, and then you learn
Yeah.
to write down the words. And although I knew something about syntax and already know a bit how to code, it was hard. So I failed that exam. Afterwards, I was hired by PwC, and we can almost say that I didn't pick OutSystems. OutSystems picked me.
Okay.
So I was trying to run from OutSystems because I failed the
Yeah.
exam.
Yeah.
When I went to PwC, they said that I would go to the OutSystems team.
Yeah. Wow.
And yeah,
It was meant
and
to be.
it was meant to be. It was written down on the stars.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And
don't
what
believe.
was your reaction when obviously because you said you were trying to kind of get away, and then when they said they're going to
Yeah.
put you in the OutSystems team, what was your initial reaction to that?
Well, I'm a very honest person. I suck at telling lies. Don't ask me to tell a lie because it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So if I'm excited with something, that thing is really good.
Yeah.
I don't know how to lie, so I tell them the truth. I failed. But they said anyway, you are going to the OutSystems team, and although you have failed, at least you know the basics.
Yeah.
So I started watching the videos again, and they put me in a project. So I learned by doing it.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I learned by doing it, and it was hard. It was really, really
Yeah, I could
hard.
imagine because you're kind of thrown in the deep end, right? It's kind of just
Yeah,
there's a
and
saying sink or swim, right? So you have to
yeah,
kind of
right,
swim.
right. Yeah, swim a lot, and also PwC is a big four,
Yeah.
and there is a lot of pressure for you to show results fast and good results. So at the beginning, I would feel like I am the worst developer ever, but I still didn't quit. I still go to dailies and show up, and I just hang on to what my husband said, that he said, you are the greatest.
Yeah.
So keep on going. And that was my mindset when I was there. And
That's amazing.
yeah.
And obviously during all this, you still got two kids running around. How did you manage to kind of juggle, the stresses of obviously career change, now pressured job, two kids to manage? How did you kind of deal with that?
Well, let's be honest. You cannot have it all. As a mom, I know as a woman, and as a mom, usually society says that you can have it all. And that's not true. You cannot have it all. When I was being an amazing developer, I wasn't always the greatest mom ever. Something has to give.
Yeah.
So I started to delegate in my husband, and we shared responsibilities. And I stopped trying to reach that kind of perfect mom. Fresh baked cookies, forget about it. You can go to the supermarket. Yeah. I love to bake.
Yeah.
Meals from scratch, forget about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we order, and it's great at the end.
Yeah.
It still is great.
Yeah.
And sometimes, some days, I kind of nailed motherhood. Other days, I nailed the job. But I made this change for my family, so they could be proud, and so my kids could see that what means to chase something hard and not give up. And I think you can almost say the same, that when you are fulfilled, you are a better parent.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
the version of me that I want them to know.
Yeah.
And also, life is too short. You have to follow your heart, follow your happiness, and also your kids see that. And I think it's a great example for them, and even for my partner. For me, he's the greatest developer ever. Sorry, Nuno Reis. Sorry. But for me, my husband is the greatest developer,
Yeah.
and I really wanted him to be proud of me.
That's nice.
Yeah,
And like you said, I think there's nothing wrong with kids seeing and learning determination, because
yeah,
that's something that if they see you didn't give up in the long
yeah,
run will only help them when they tackle this difficult life, and the challenges that come across, so
that,
that's really inspiring to hear. And, when obviously, that's like you said, there's days where you can be a perfect mom, days where you're perfect developer. There might be days where you'll feel like you're just struggling with everything. Were there moments that, in that process where you felt, oh, I can't do this. I've had enough. I want to give up. How did you deal with that? What kept you kind of going?
well, um, as I say before, I have a partner that supports me a lot. So when uh, things sometimes, days, I had days that I would feel like the worst developer ever. And I would say to my husband, ask him, do you really think I am that good? Really? And he would say, you are the greatest in the world. And I would just hang on to his words like it was super glue. I
Yeah.
just hang on to that. And I also, sorry, but I love perfumes. So sometimes dailies were a bit hard. And I would go to the bathroom and fill myself with perfume and red lips
Yeah. Yeah.
because I really like having this kind of joyful
Yeah.
appearance. So I would like paint my lips red for me to feel empowered.
Yeah.
And also, there was a time that was really really dark. I was in this company, and they laid me off,
Mm,
um, saying that I wasn't good enough for them.
mm.
I also had lost my father during that
Well,
time.
yeah.
So for me, it was the lowest of the lowest. I was crying every day because
Mm.
I wasn't happy. And I went to a Women's Plus user group
Nice.
and I wrote on the chat and I said that I'm not good enough for this. And Nuno Reis, it was the first time that
Yeah.
we had engaged. And he sent me a personal message saying, no, you are good enough. And we started talking and we became friends.
Mm.
And he said, like, you really have something. And when someone that you, that, that is very known in the OutSystems world, like Nuno Reis, say that
Yeah.
you have something, you just hang on to that feeling.
Mm.
And if Nuno Reis, that is the badass MVP that he says that I have something, I have something. So I just hang on to that feeling and go forward. No.
Yeah. That's amazing. And
Yeah.
so what did once you kind of moved forward, how did you kind of progress in your career?
Well, after PwC, it was in PwC was a bit it was an environment that was a bit competitive,
Mm.
and it was very demanding, um, but gave me a lot of knowledge, and also I learned to deal with I learned to be resilient there.
Mm.
So, and afterwards, I was hired by Nuno to do a project uh, that was related to in OutSystems. It was related with my previous background in healthcare. It was an app for managing clinical trials, and we also did a mobile app for a real estate company in the UK. We also did it. And this clinical trial app was we were hired by Entity Data as
Okay.
yeah. So Entity liked my job, liked my work. So for them, in a place, I was the lowest of the lowest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I go to another company that that saw in me a lot of potential, really a
Yeah.
lot of potential, and they started to invest in me, um, and really saying that you are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. So that really pushed me forward, and
Mm.
also gave validates also what my husband was saying, what Nuno was saying.
Yeah.
So it gave me a lot of boost to proceed.
That's amazing. And obviously, you had, someone like Nuno as a mentor, and obviously you had your
Yeah,
husband kind of supporting you.
yeah,
What else did you do? Did you engage with the community a lot? How did you kind of, keep yourself developing and getting better?
yeah. Well, I also engage in the community, in the Discord, in the Portuguese OutSystems channel, in the Discord. When
Mm.
I had questions, I would put them down. Even in Portugal, in user groups, when I go to user groups, people come up to me and say, "Oh, thank you for your courage. You are the only one who puts the questions that
Question,
are
yeah.
not afraid to say that you don't know."
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also tell them, like, yeah, I don't know back then, but now I know, and even
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
further.
Yeah.
So say goodbye to dumbness or something.
Yeah.
It's your
Yeah.
last day as a dumb
Yeah.
person. When you write down the question, bye bye. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
kind of
A- a-
feeling.
Yeah, and obviously, that ties into the next question of obviously imposter syndrome, right? And
Yeah,
obviously, you gave a great Marvel themed presentation around that, which I wish
yeah. Thank you.
everyone could see. But how did you kind of get past that? Because obviously, you know, when you're in a meeting, you're in a room, most people probably don't have the background you have. They probably come from years of tech experience. How did you kind of deal with those situations where, and there's many others, like you say, who don't put up their hand because they don't want to look dumb or they don't want to ask something stupid, right? Or come across.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just be quiet and not know the answer. How did you deal with that?
Um, well, um, I had, especially early on, and when you're new in tech, it's easy to feel like a fraud, and sometimes I still do. I often felt like I didn't belong, um, and like I said, when you have someone that invests in you and believes in you, you just hold on to that and try to do the best that you know. And 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 usually when I ask for help, I kind of own my progress and stop aiming for that perfect
Hmm.
kind of cookie cutter answer. There in tech, you for the same problem you can have a lot of solutions,
Yeah.
and and there isn't a perfect one. There is the one with the perfect fit. We can almost say that. And although I struggle with imposter syndrome, I I have learned that imposter syndrome also helps me to aim higher and be a better developer. So I stopped kind of um, to deny it and started
Hmm.
to accept it, and also try to work with it. And because I have noticed that when I have imposter syndrome is when my creativity is at its fullest and
Hmm.
my highest potential. So I started to work with it. and use it in my favor. So I think imposter syndrome is a great ally for finding the perfect fit solution, and for you not to settle, and always try to when I get sometimes during projects you have a challenge. I once was in a project that we had to build a custom widget for a person to write the hours, but not the hours of the day. It was the hours. So sometimes people would have to write like 100 hours, and I built the widget with JavaScript, CSS, and creativity from scratch. Yeah, and it was great. I built it in 2 days. Was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing. Every once I had a challenge, and I tried to, okay, let's see what Stack Overflow has to say about it. I divided the problem into parts, and I started to find the perfect fit solution for each part. And that was something that I learned from bioinformatics, from dynamic programming. I don't remember the guy who said it. I think it was the guy from the government of US in the 50s, I guess, or 60s. I don't know. And he said that when you have a huge problem, you have to separate in parts, and the best solution for each part is the best solution for the problem. And he came up with the name dynamic programming because the government didn't want him to say mathematics. Yeah, that's true. So when I have a problem that I think, oh, it's too big or something, I try to dissect it into parts.
Yeah. And that goes perfectly into kind of what I was going to ask about, in low code especially, a lot of people that I spoke to who switch from other backgrounds, they always say there's other skills from their old career that they were able to apply working with the platform. Can you tell me through, which ones you felt has really helped you be a better developer, but it's actually skills you've learned in your previous career?
Yeah, like I worked in a blood bank, and blood bank is always emergency. You always work under a lot of pressure, and it's also really easy for you to do a mistake, and a mistake with real consequences. So I have learned to prioritize what the client says, and try to by making them questions to know what is their expectations and what are their priorities, what features are really important to them. And my previous job was great at it. Also time management, because we were working under a lot of pressures, and we sometimes in blood work it's very, you don't know what is coming next, so it's very unpredictable. So you learn how to time manage the answer or the call to the OR, and also learned from my previous job. But I guess also teamwork. I work in shifts. Everyone who is working in shifts knows that teamwork is key. You have to trust You have to blindly trust on the work of your previous coworker,
Yeah.
and you have to also know how to communicate with the next one. What you have done, what you did, it's kind of like a daily.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm very short in my dailies because I have learned. We would call kind of like a shift passage, and I don't know
Yeah.
the term in the UK
Yeah.
or in English, but we call we pass the shift, so
Yeah.
we had to talk
Is a
about what
handover.
we have. Yeah,
Handover.
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 Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Sorry, I was trying to translate it from Portuguese. Like, sorry, guys. Yeah, handover. Um, so it's kind of a daily. So my dailies
Yeah.
are really, really short, and I try to trust on my colleagues' work. I only go see if something is not well. Uh, when something is not yet kind of like you have like a sixth sense, kind of that something is not, maybe it's not entirely great. So in that case, I go and check and try to talk on with that specific coworker, but behind the scenes,
Yeah.
not in front of the
Nice.
team,
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great.
I
And
also learned that.
yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that is a good
Yeah.
one.
Mm.
But also, what do you think, people often get wrong about switching into technology via the low code path rather than just traditional?
Okay. Uh, People often assume that having a job in tech is always better paid. It's not. Um, or specific in low code, people often assume that low code is easy, but it's not that easy. Okay, low code still demands logic, hard work, and commitment. You have to be passionate. Uh, if you are not genuinely curious or passionate about solving problems, uh, this is not a right path for you.
Yeah.
Sorry, but you have to be passionate. You must have joy to you must be joyfully working to the client's demands and transmit that joy to the client. So I think, and also low code also helps you with organizing your thoughts and
Yeah.
also your logic. You know that you have code behind it, and it's important for you to know what that kind of pictures are doing in the background for you to easily solve the problems that you might encounter, but helps you to structure the solution better for me, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. And what would you say to, that there's people out there who probably, looking for a career change, tired of what they're doing, but they might be thinking, oh, it's too late, I'm too old, or I don't have
Yeah,
time, or I I would never understand the technical language, to start over. What would be your what would you say to people like that?
yeah. I would say follow your happiness. If you really like uh, logic, if you really enjoy solving problems, if you are resilient and also love teamwork, and sorry about this, about what I'm going to say, but maybe even enjoy a bit of storytelling or uh, or show business, this could be your place. Yeah, and life is too short, and if you are passionate about it, go for it. You have nothing to lose. That would be my advice.
Yeah.
If you are happy doing this, go for it.
Yeah, yeah. And I think often a lot of people who have this thought process of, I want to change, and they delay it and delay it, delay it. And then 2 years down the line, they think, oh, I wish I did it 2 years ago. And they just get in their own head and they don't do
Yeah,
it, where I think it's very much, especially I think when it comes to something like OutSystems where there's so much support, the platform is free to download anyway. You
yeah,
can do a lot of it on your own. Obviously, you can do more kind of in-depth training, but there's a lot of resources and people even that you can reach out to directly to help and relate to,
yeah.
that can kind of help you have that network of people to get you off the ground at least.
Uh, well, I would say download the studio and try to build. But before building, try to find a project that you are really, really passionate,
Yeah,
kind of a pet project, and try to uh, really try to build the app. You might not don't know Figma, but you can do it on Paint or
yeah,
or in a notebook or something. But try to build a project for something that you are passionate or it's your hobby or will solve a problem that you have right now, because you are your own client. So and that will give you a leverage when dealing with a real client, because you now can relate.
yeah,
And also um, we shine better when we do things that we are passionate about it, and sell that passion to your employer, sell that passion to your client. And people, okay, you can be great at technical work, and technical work is necessary, of course. It's the skill that you must focus, but passion, they can relate to it,
yeah,
and also share that passion with them.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And now you wouldn't be regarded as a switcher right now. You're an out systems developer, right? You're not new. You're
No,
not,
yes,
you're an out systems developer. You're kind of settled in working on projects. How has now life changed for you professionally and personally? How's that kind of impacted your life?
yeah. Well, I feel fulfilled and happier, because previously my career was a bit stale. I knew that I couldn't grow further in the healthcare. So that's why, not only because my husband said that will be good, but also
Yeah.
because I wasn't, although I did something that I really loved,
Mm.
but I also love low code.
Yeah.
And now I see myself more as a developer than a healthcare. I still read some articles about
Yeah.
healthcare, but it's kind of like a hobby. It's
Mm.
not something that I do. I now also read articles about low code and AI. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you're definitely a tech geek for sure now.
I'm geeky. I know that I told you before. Yeah, my talk in one is called "One Event to Rule Them All." So of course I'm geeky.
That's amazing. And
Yeah,
what do you kind of now looking forward to? What's next for you in your kind of personal journey? Is there any goals or ambitions
yeah,
you have for yourself?
yeah. Don't be fooled by my joyful um, perspective on life, and but I'm very competitive. But I rather be the last of the best than be the best of the worst. And so I want to keep growing with people who challenge me. Um, right now, my goal is to get even better at delivering great solutions to clients. And I want to become more strategic, more insightful, and more impactful. Um, I have shared my story at events, like the Women Plus
Yeah.
gatherings, because if even one person takes the leap because of it,
Yeah.
that's worth everything.
Yeah.
And I would eventually love to become an all system champion, not for the title, but to represent women, uh, especially because in tech there is not a lot of represented. There is not a lot of women,
Yeah.
especially mothers,
Yeah.
who have lived a whole other life before entering into tech, especially and in low code. If I could be their example, their encouragement, then this path was exactly the right one.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is really nice. And any kind of, final words for parents or professionals, feeling
Yeah,
stuck and they want to change, what's some final words you'd have for them?
yeah. Well, follow your happiness, fight for it. It won't be easy, uh, but it will be worth it. And enjoy the path, enjoy the road, um, enjoy even the tiny moments that you are feeling lost, because afterwards you will look back and see that everything was worth it. Um, especially for parents, I know that necessito más feeling. That was said by Ellie Wong. I don't know if you
No,
have seen the stand up. It was
I know who she
about
is. I know who
parents.
she is. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but there is a stand up that she says, I want a wife, and but we are always looking for do better, be better. The necesito más. I know that that we all feel the same, the struggle of it, but it's okay to embrace the mess. And when you are happier, your kids will feel it too. And girl, you got this. Go for
Amazing.
it. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. And I appreciate you, thank you for being a guest. It's great to hear your
Thank
story. I think
you.
it's quite inspiring that, the conversation started from you talking about failure, the
Yeah.
exam, not wanting to do it, and now you're talking about presenting at the one conference. So it
Yeah.
shows, with the right push, determination, the right, I think supportive family is very important, so having your husband by your side, having a mentor like Nuno,
Yeah.
gives you that stamp of, obviously your husband's great, but having someone who doesn't really know you that well to then also back you is really great and will give you that drive. So it's quite inspiring, and I appreciate you sharing that. And I hope others will, take some advice and then take the plunge.
I hope so as well.
Amazing.
I would be super honored to be their spokesperson or women for them,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be their champion, to for them to see that I was kind of like a kryptonite or something from tech
Yeah.
world. I'm a woman. I'm 40. I have 2 kids. I don't have a background in tech. So and here I am. I'm still standing here, and I think that I'm how can we say this? I'm kicking ass, man. Sorry.
Yeah. I love it.
But,
Amazing.
but,
Yeah.
but that's true. I'm kicking ass, and now I have a talk on. Although it's not, it's I'm a co-author.
Yeah.
But still, it's great. I never knew that when we submitted it, I never anticipated that they would
Yeah.
pick me
Yeah.
ever. But we still did it, and we were, and they picked us. They picked us.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. I look forward to, if I attend, I'll definitely come to your session and see you there.
Thank you.
So I appreciate it, and thank you again.
It will be full with passion
Yeah.
and joy.
Energy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, energy, a lot of it.
Love it. Thank you,
Yeah.
Anna.
Bye. Thank you
Bye.
thank you for the opportunity.
No problem.